Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. If you're here watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Svava Brooks, and I'm a trauma recovery coach. And I love to hang out here Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube with my fellow survivor thrivers as we work our way through my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self. If you're curious about the trauma recovery services that I offer, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. Love to hear from you. On our live streams here, we start with visiting with each other, checking in, see how we're doing, and then we dig in deep. Today, we are talking about perfectionism and what's underneath perfectionism for a lot of us, right? We're trying to hide, and sometimes what's driving that is shame and fear. So if you're here live with me today, please say hello. Let me know that you're here so I can say hello and welcome you. Good to be here with you. Always my favorite parts of the week is coming here and hanging out with you guys. And yes, today we are gonna talk about some tough stuff, but it's easier to have some of those hard conversations when we do it in a community with others that understand. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to be here with you. Just moving my screens around. There we go. So how are we doing today, my friends? Putting in a little message here. Hey there, Sue. How are you? Good to see you again. How are you? It's been a busy day. That's all right, Rob. You're welcome. And that goes for anyone. If you're here, please join the conversation. It's okay if you haven't shared your comment in our group, in our community. This is an open forum. We welcome you. And if you have any comments or questions about trauma and recovery, I may not know the answer. I've learned that lesson. Don't pretend you know the answer when you don't. But I can turn it over to the community. There's so much wisdom here. So I'm surprised you're still up, my friend Sue. My UK people are here. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? How are you guys? I just managed to get in a quick walk. Been kind of keeping my eye on the weather today. Yeah, we tend to start by talking about the weather. Been doing back-to-back calls today, but I had a little window of opportunity, so I went out to get my energy moving and to get a little fresh air. So took a few snapshots of the beautiful leaves that are still turning all kinds of colors. Hey, Denise, is that the birthday girl? Woohoo! Now I'm gonna have to sing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Denise. So glad you're here. I hope you're celebrating your birth, right? Remember, there is no one like you in the whole wide world, and that is worth celebrating. And I certainly feel special that you're here with us on your special day. Thank you, Rob, right? Great now that our regular friend DDC is here. Yes. And I want to apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but one of my kitty cats here in the background is complaining. There he goes. He's been fed. Yeah, see, he's getting louder. We're going to have a little heart-to-heart later. So I don't know if anybody else who have cats, do they need more food when it gets colder outside? Maybe they're burning more calories too. Yeah, it is Kevin. He might come and visit and jump in here just to protest, to really try to get my attention, but I'll do my best to ward him off. But if you hear him, he is okay. He's just complaining. If you think he is in distress, he thinks he's in distress. Right, Sue? But I think he's putting on more weight. I've been feeding him more. And I think it's just because I'm around more and I'm just feeding him just to kind of quiet him down a little bit. But maybe it is that. So he also, I think, protests or thinks that when I'm about to sit down here, I feed him sometimes just to kind of get him to lower his volume. So I think he's the smart one. It's like, oh, she's going from that computer, that box thing. Maybe if I meow loud enough, I'll get extra feeding, huh? So anyways, so good to be here with you guys. I started with mentioning, right, we are talking about perfectionism. Anybody else here recovering perfectionism? Work in progress, right? I'm looking up a few Brene Brown quotes. She is the queen of quotes when it comes to perfectionism, shame, vulnerability, courage, belonging. And I love this one here. When perfectionism is driving us, shame is riding shotgun, and fear is that annoying back seat driver. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but as much as I resisted facing shame, because, yep, not fun or pretty. Shame is not a comfortable feeling to embrace. And perfectionism is a very helpful coping strategy for a lot of us for a very, very long time. But shame is, right, the driver, what feeds the need to be perfect, right? This is how I survived, right? I just keep on a big smile and I'll just be happy. But it got to be exhausting. It definitely got to be exhausting. And slowly, of course, slowly, instead of turning that way, running away from the shame, feeling the pressure from it, it's like, what if I turn to it just nice and slow? Just like, what is it that this shame thing is telling me? And for me personally, I think about it, it's like I was trying so hard not to feel it. Yep, right? In this body, I literally just cut off feeling anything because I was very consumed by shame and self-hatred for a long time. So, but slowly and surely, I realized that shame, I was actually thinking about it this morning, right? What do we talk about when we talk about our nervous system, right? Your body is always doing the best it can. And this is for you, if anyone here, you're just noticing your body's like, I don't know if I want to hang out for this conversation. Hey, Jay, right? Just notice that what made me be willing, right? Because I was like, nope, not dealing with that feeling. Nope, not in a million. I was nope, 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 nope. Like la 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 la. Not gonna face shame. But what happened is that I was introduced, right, to the impact of stress on my body and my nervous system, and the impact of, unexpressed emotions in our bodies, and also like what drives up tension in my body and did for a long time, and what kept me stuck in that fight or flight or freeze state was very much my fear of feeling my feelings. And obviously shame was one of the big feelings that I was really concerned would literally just swallow me up whole. again, but what made me curious and be willing to consider the possibility, like I had to play mind games with myself. Hey, Lady Leo, be safe. Like, okay, I'm willing to consider the possibility here, that I'm willing to explore being able to identify some of my feelings. Shame maybe doesn't come up right away, but some of my feelings, awareness of my sensations of the body, because I knew that living, right, trying to protect myself and hide myself kept me pretty high on the scale of, right, high stress in my body. So your body is hardwired to protect you. It will go into fight or flight or freeze as a strategy in the moment of something happened. But for so many of us, if we lived in that state of not being safe, right, those toxic hormones are being pumped into your nervous system constantly. And all we have to do is to normalize that level of tension and stress in the body to the point I had no idea that that's the state that I was living in. But learning about the nervous system, learning about, the curve, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and the impact of those stress hormones being in my system chronically, never coming into rest and digest, never relaxing, because I was not just needing the toxic hormones to get away from fear or to fight whatever or collapse and play dead in a moment of something happening, being able to come out of it. I was living with the bear, right? Like running after the bear. The bear was living with me. So when I understood that, and then I was able to see that, to me, shame had become the bear. Like the bear I was living with was shame. And so living in shame, I was literally like feeding those shameful, worst case scenarios, fears, right? Like they say here, that quote, the fear that was the backseat driver, and shame is riding shotgun. And I was over here trying to keep it all together and be perfect. So being willing to consider the possibility that, right, shame doesn't like to be spoken about. Shame can't tolerate being brought out in the open, because a lot of our fears and a lot of the shame, they need more. Shame needs more shame to sustain itself. Fear needs more fear to sustain itself. And the fear and shame coming from my body up to my mind were feeding this machine that was trying to make meaning, understanding, this body telling the mind there's something wrong, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And because I wasn't connected to my body being able to discern, is this real or imagined, or is this really happening right now, it always flooded me with, it's happening right now, right here, right now. So then in that place, the only choice I had was, right, to curl up in more fear and more shame. So slowly over time, I started to understand, okay, the only way I can get in touch with where these shame attacks are coming from, where are these fear attacks coming from, would be to like be curious, what is the thinking that's feeding this shame, right? And to turn towards it. It's like, wait a minute, like for years I felt ashamed of being abused physically, emotionally, sexually in my childhood. Like I was hiding that secret as if my life depended on it. I understand, right? Not everybody has to go public or be open and, shared with everybody in the world what happened to them. That's not what we're talking about. But it was just like, I had made it my secret. Like because it happened when I was so young, I didn't understand what was happening. It had to be my fault, right? And since this was probably something that I did, I was bad, it became my secret and my secret to protect. And that shame was just inside of me feeding off of that. Until I, in a support group with other survivors, started hearing them say, it's like, no, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. You were just a child. I was like, that's right. Do you hear that? I was just a child. This wasn't my fault. Why do I think it's my fault? Why do I think this is my fault? Right? And it would be like when that shame or that fear would come up, wait a minute, that shame feeling, it's a liar. It's not even true. So I know I'm very oversimplifying it. But then I started questioning some of these thoughts, right? I started hearing some of these thoughts, and I was curious again, wanting to help this body to like, why is it that I'm at war with myself all the time? It's like there's something in here that's telling me that I'm bad or broken or stupid or not good enough, and it's simply not true. Simply not true. I started seeing myself and other people that were healing and changing those thoughts and those feelings about themselves. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe I can turn towards this body. Okay, it's always doing the best it can. It's always, how can I hate it if it's always doing the best it can? How can I be so angry with it when it's always doing the best it can? Yes, all kinds of challenging relationship with this body, my feelings and my thoughts. But slowly, very slowly, I wanted this body to feel better. I wanted to stop feeling so horribly about myself, like I was the worst human ever. I was, right? Like, why bother? I was tired of feeling that way. It was exhausting. And so holding on to a little bit of light from other survivors. Thank you, Rob. Yes, shine the light. It's like, okay, I'm going to take that light and start shining it on shame. It's like, what's the story you're trying to tell me? It's not the truth. And shame kind of like, like a spider, when you set the light on it, or a cockroach, it just scurries, right? Shame is a little bit like that. And so is the fear, right? So is fear. That when fear has been living in us, in our system for so long, it is hardwired into our expectations, our thinking, our beliefs. And so to change that, yes, it takes intention. It takes sometimes, some days, I remember I was, okay, I'm choosing this. Nope, I'm choosing this. Nope, I'm choosing this. Like I sometimes say, training a puppy, and I chuckle a bit now that my daughter is training a puppy. I often think, yeah, that's a lot like healing. I know you lose sleep every now and then because there's no breaks. You gotta just work through those puppy stages until it comes on the other side. All of a sudden, I had a little breakthrough. That's right. Shame is very tricky. It is. Hey, Tracy. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So, beautiful sharing here, my friends, in our group. Let's see here, right? The comments to our questions, the 2 questions that we asked today in the book, and I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts. Child abuse survivors often hide their shame and secrets by trying to appear perfect. We already talked about this, right? Recovering perfectionist over here. This is because you were so young when you were abused. You thought this was happening to you because there was something terribly wrong with you. You develop the belief that a perfect exterior would hide how messed up you might have felt on the inside. That worked well for a few of us, some of us, you know. And if that didn't work, we also just recognized some of the ways that other people were acting, like we modeled what we saw around us. And so kind of like, okay, when I'm hanging out with you, I'm this way. When I'm hanging out with you, I'm this way. When I'm hanging out with you, I can be this way. So never really ourselves, just kind of mirroring other people, working incredibly hard not to be found out. So in what way do you still feel like there's something that maybe feels a little messed up inside, a little dysregulated, or maybe something is hiding some part here? And I ask that question because it's good to turn towards, and I can't say that I like that word messed up. But what I mean by that is just like something doesn't, something feels off, or I feel broken here, or there's some hurt here, there's some confusion. So it's like that messy middle, right? And how do you try to cover this up through perfectionism? Or, have you created some identities that you recognize, I've put on this front, which isn't necessarily bad, right? It's a coping, it's a part of you that you've developed, to manage, filter between you and the outside world. But when we kind of lose sight as to why this part is here, and we think it's us, right? So much of our healing journey, right, is to go and work through all those parts and those roles and these things we have done to hide, to release our most authentic self that's underneath all of that. So Lady Leo shares with us today, I still very much feel inadequate in my mind. I think I'm reading that right, Lady Leo. I know I have family members that love me, friends that are true, that doesn't stop that inner critic from convincing me that I'm unworthy of friendship, or that anyone would want to hang out. I no longer I no longer try to cover that lie up. I do a reality check based on facts. I have friends invite me to outings, and they call and they check in on me. I even see smiles on their faces when I show up. It's beautiful, Lady Leo. So beautiful. Thank you so much, right, for sharing, to being so authentic. Can you guys relate? Right? We know people love us, but we can still hear that annoying, harsh, cruel even inner critic, that part of you that is trying to remind you or try to talk you down, that you're not worthy or good enough to be or have friendships. Oh, I know you're not alone, Lady Leo. And I love that you're sharing here that you do reality check. I am a huge fan of reality checks. Huge fan. So when that comes up, it's like, can I think you say, Lady Leo, you actually go back and recall some memories that confirm what this inner critic is saying isn't true, right? And I also, for a long time, would literally reach out to people. It's like, this is how I'm feeling. I just, this is a challenge for me, and I'm working through this. I think I've told you guys the story around having friendships, Lady Leo. That was very hard for me too. And so once I got to know a couple of really good friends, I would talk to them about how hard it was for me to believe that they actually wanted to be my friends or were interested. So I would reach out to them and do a reality check. Over here, I'm thinking this. Is it true, or is this just me? And it was very healing to do. So beautiful. So thank you. Hey, Lynn. Hey, friend. Tracy, I'm going up here a little bit. Hey, Sharon. Hey, friend. Tracy says here, still feeling lacking value, so keep mirroring others except in a couple of safe groups. Good. Keep doing it. Keep showing up, my friend. Keep showing up. Lynn, there is sometimes a huge disconnect between what the head and the heart knows. Very seldom are they ever on the same page. I hear you, Lynn, but it gets better. It gets easier. It gets easier. So I'm glad you're here, Lynn. Thank you for being here and thank you for sharing. Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm dropping into my heart, my friend, sending you lots of love. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Lady Leo. Thank you, Lady Leo. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I'm so sorry, Sharon. This is hard, very hard. Yes, thank you, Sue. Thank you, my friend. Hey, Sharon, I'm sending you love, my friend. Sending you love and warmth. This is hard. Yes. Yes, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Lynn. I'm just feeling into my heart, Sharon, and sending you love from here. I'm glad to hear. Please remember those one steps at a time, my friend. Please stay connected to your people. We are sitting with you, my friend. It's heartbreaking, yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Lynn. Exactly. This is where there are no words. We are here with you. We are here for you, my friend. I'm sending you some Reiki, Sharon. All you have to do is say yes to receive it. Only if you want, no pressure. I hear you. Just being helps. Yes. Yes. There you go. You're welcome, my friend. So we're just taking a pause for our friend. And I invite any of you who would like to join in just to drop into your hearts. And from your heart, send love to Sharon. She is one of us. She can feel us, our love and support and our presence. And it's during times like these, my friends, these are challenging times, and this is a hard moment. This is really hard, Sharon. And I've been sharing with a few of my clients privately lately that when I have gone through some of my darkest moments, some hardest, heartbreaking moments, is literally where I found myself on my knees. You know, whatever it is that you believe in, your higher power, your connection to God, source, spirit, universe, the stars, or Mother Earth. When you feel like you're about to break, is when I've literally, like, on my knees, on the floor, like, this is it. I need help. I cannot do this alone. This is too hard. Too hard. It hurts too much. It hurts too much. Hurts too much. But there's something about putting it out. Yes, I hear you, my friend. There's something about putting it out there and asking something out there to come to your aid. It reminds something inside of us, right? And no matter how small or how broken we feel, there is something that pings you back. There is something that pings you back. There's something there listening. In whatever shape or form that, you know, may be meaningful for you. And for whatever reason, I felt the need to share that today. So I'm trusting that. I know, Sharon. I know, my friend. Yep. Let him have it. Let him have it. He can handle it. He can handle it. Absolutely. The same way nature can handle the wars, you know, he can handle it. He can, or she can, or whatever you want to call, right? God or spirit or universe. I'm doing my best to be inclusive of all of our faiths. No matter what, Sharon, I believe in you, my friend. And I believe in the power of our community and our love for you. Aww. Of course. Of course. We love Roxy. Oh my goodness, now I'm gonna cry. Of course she's there for you. I'd forgotten that she's there for you. Thank you, Lynn. Yep, universal powers that be. Yes, thank you. Yes, and what a blessing that beautiful dog is. Yes, they love to snuggle. Dogs know, yes, they do. And no matter if they're 75 pounds, they think they're lap dogs and they're meant to be in our arms. I hear you, Sharon. I hear you. I'm sorry. It's hard. People, it is hard when people don't know what to say. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I do hear you, my friend. Lynn. That's a big, his name is Rocky. That's a big cat. Oh my goodness. That's a big cat. Well, thank you for being here, Sharon, today. My heart sings for you because it's just wanting you to know so much that you are loved, you are held, you are supported. I hear you, Sharon. I hear you. And that is a great way forward, right? Is to find other people with same experience. Right? There is definitely comfort in that, where you don't have to come in and worry about other people's reaction. So, oh, you're welcome, Sharon. You're welcome. We all wish we could be circling in your space, around you, around the bonfire. Another time. Another time. But I hope you take this with you, that you're not alone. So here, let's see, Sue had shared with us her comments on today. Her comments on today's question. She says is that the most messed up thing for me has been a lack of connection. And that's been underlying all the other difficulties I've had. I recognize it goes back a very long way. And throughout my life, it's made me feel like I was never enough and never seen or loved. So I would try my hardest to be perfect and never get anything wrong so that someone somewhere would see me and love me. And I thought if I tried hard enough, you wouldn't see how bad I felt inside, because if you did, I was sure you couldn't possibly love me. She goes on to say, but of course, I failed all the time because being perfect just isn't possible and wouldn't have made me feel loved and connected anyway. And being driven by that need made life exhausting. So now I'm having to learn to accept myself as good enough as I am and gradually build that connection with myself that I needed all along. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sue. That's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? Yeah. Here, Lynn, I'm happy to share the question with you. But again, Sue, right? Thank you for writing so beautifully your awareness and what you've learned. And right, that shame is covering up a lie. It's there's no truth in what it's covering up, right? And the truth is you are lovable, valuable, right? Adorable, precious, you know, as it from day one. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Sue, for so eloquently, you know, writing out what you've learned. Lack of connection. That's the underlying issue because we did not get our needs met from our caregivers. That's what we do. The stories we come up with when we don't get feedback. And when we don't get feedback as infants, we literally turn inwards and become anxious because we are not getting our needs met. We're not getting our needs met. We're not getting our needs met. And we are trying to figure out as helpless infants, children, toddlers, we're not getting our needs met. We're not getting our needs met. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What can I do to make sure I get my needs met? And all along, it wasn't your fault. Yes, Sue, I hear you. It's like, right, we got those glasses on and we don't know we're wearing glasses. It's like, this is how the world is. Yes. Perfectionism and shame, Lynn, is our topic. The questions, happy to share them. In what way do you still feel like you're messed up inside because of trauma, right? We try to play perfect. And the second question was, how do you try to cover this up through perfectionism? So, and I started with, you know, one of Brené Brown quotes that when perfectionism is showing up, shame is riding shotgun and fear is in the back seat, right? And another quote that I shared in the Facebook group, I think some of you saw it, right? To understand the difference between healthy striving and perfectionism is critical to laying down the shield and picking up life. Research shows that perfectionism hampers success. It's the path to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis, right? What started off as a healthy or helpful coping strategy as a child is now, right, laying down the shield, laying down the armor, the heavy, heavy armor that we are still carrying. Yes, yes. So, like we've talked about before, how do we shift it? How do we change it? Just like Lady Leo shared with us, and And Sue, realizing where did it come from? Where did it come from? And like I said earlier, that recognizing shame in your body. And for me, I always turn to the body. Turn to the body, because tension patterns in our bodies are very much, tied up around chronic reactions to the outside world, where something, are they going to figure me out, or are they going to see the truth, or what did I do wrong, or right? It's like, and so once we realize I haven't done anything wrong, I'm not broken, no secrets, slowly, I'm not in trouble. I'm on to you, shame, right? Nope. And that critic, nope, 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 not listening, not true. I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know how I serve. I know my heart. I know my intention. And I know how to take care of me, this body. I know how it works now. I know what it needs now. Yes, aches in there every now and then, but I turn towards them and I'm curious. I wonder what this tightness is about. I wonder what this energy in here is about, right? I like to simplify it for myself. This trauma brain needed things simple. Am I open, loving, connected, and curious? Or am I protected, guarded, defensive, and controlling? I'm choosing to lead with the heart. I'm choosing to stay open. I'm choosing to stay open. I'm choosing to stay open. It's uncomfortable. I'm choosing to stay open. I hear you, Lynn. So hard to lay down the armor when it feels like it's a part of you. Yes, exactly, Sue. That's it. That's it. Because in many ways, it isn't the hurt of the past that we're healing. It's the armor we've put on because of the hurt of the past. So the stories we made up about ourselves because of the past, that's the armor. It's not what happened. It's right. And that, right, the identity, the roles we put on. And when it's like we think it's who we are. Yeah. Right? So we take off the armor, one sleeve at a time. I hear you, Lynn. It gets heavy. And that's it. Shame and fear and guilt. It's dense energy. It's heavy, right? Hope, possibility, curiosity, courage. It's lighter. It feels lighter. Exactly. We do feel vulnerable without it. Exactly. We do in the beginning, but then we realize, wait a minute, I never needed that. And the thing that we're longing for, connection, we can't connect when we are in the armor. Right? When we have armored ourselves, we can't get the thing we desperately want. It's solid. There's no penetrating, right? It's steel. So taking it down. Whew, yeah, I'm a little exposed here. This feels a little vulnerable. This feels a little risky. But it's way easier to move. You're lighter on your feet. If something comes at you without the armor, you can just like, that was interesting. Not interested. No, that's not going to stick either. It's a lot harder to move. I'm just playing with you guys. But shame, fear, guilt, it's heavy, it's weighted energy. And that's the other thing I try to notice in my body. What helps you to feel lighter? Exactly. There you go, Lynn. So we've all been in training. As we leave the arena, right now, you're all in the arena. As you leave the arena, feel free to take the armor off. At the end of this class, at the end of this live stream, you can leave your armor at the door, okay? No need for it anymore. You can come visit anytime, but let's keep the armor in the arena where we're practicing, we're training. You don't need it out there. I love that. Love it. So my friends, we have about 8 more minutes or so. Put it in the damn museum, Lynn says. Any other thoughts, questions, comments on shame and perfectionism? Any reflection or any aha moments that you've had here together today? And I pulled a card for us, as I always do. I love these cards. Today, perfectionism in shame is called survival. There you go, Sharon. A nurse never had her asked to see the tools before. I wanted to know what they were going to use. Good for you, Sharon. Good for you. That's so good for you, Sharon. One day she opened her mind to new possibilities. So I think I shared this with you guys earlier when I was stuck in shame and guilt and fear. I told myself, okay, I effing ducking don't want to do this, but I'm willing to consider the possibility. Just teeny tiny consideration. I'm willing to consider the possibility that I can be rid of shame. That I can bring or talk about shame, bring it out in the open, trust that I won't be shamed for my shame. I hear you, Rob. I absolutely hear you, Lynn. Rigged. And here's the thing, right? I've had a handful of clients that have both told me and written to me and said, it's like, Svava, I expected you to turn away when I told you what had happened to me. And I'm like, no, whatever you tell me, it's just a story about what happened to you, what was done to you. That's not you. That's not your fault. That's not who you are. I see the truth. I see what's behind there. My heart can ping your heart. I know what you're hiding. I'm onto you. And I don't give up. No matter what you say or do, I will not turn away from you. No matter what you say or do, I will not stop loving you. Right, Kevin? He's back. All right, sweet friends. I hear you, Lynn. I don't know if the truth can be ugly. I need to know more, but I hear you. I hear you. It's certainly not pretty, not fun or pretty at times. So I guess you're right. You're just using a different word. So yes, thank you, lovelies. Have a beautiful weekend. I do plan to be here on Tuesday. Thanksgiving is coming up, so, but please. Okay, Lynn, I'll trust you. All right, friend. Got it. Be gentle with yourselves. Do something that sparks joy. Be gentle with your heart and your body. You already have everything in there that you need to help you heal and restore. You do. Right? And you're doing a beautiful job. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So this was helpful to you. Thanks as always for a little thumbs up here on YouTube. That's the currency of this channel, of whole YouTube. The more likes you get, the more people you reach. And for your support around that, I always appreciate it. Take good care, and I'll see you here back on Tuesday. Same time, same place. Much love. Bye, everyone.